Louisiana Beer Reviews 23, Pabst Blue Ribbon. Pabst Blue Ribbon beer was introduced in 1844 by the Jacob Best, later the Best Pabst Brewing Company of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. When Pabst first came out, it was called Best Select Beer, okay? It started winning awards in the 1880s in world and national beer competitions, and they started tying a blue ribbon around it, and they ordered thousands of blue ribbons and tied them around the beers. And the later years, it kept winning awards, and so they officially changed the name in the 1890s to Pabst Blue Ribbon Beer. It continues to win awards. Some recent awards, 2005 and 2006 it won the gold medal for American Style Lager at the Great American Beer Festival. In 2006 it also won gold for the American Style Cream Ale or Lager category at the World Beer Cup. Pabst Blue Ribbon is made with a simple recipe. According to the website, they use water, corn syrup, 6-row barley malt, and Pacific and imported Yugoslavian hops. In 1977, Pabst Blue Ribbon reached its peak of 18 million barrels produced, and it was one of the top brands in the United States, but it started to falter. They faced a lot of competition, and by around the year 2000, it was only producing about 1 million barrels of beer. Today, Pabst Blue Ribbon is part of the Pabst Brewing Company, of course, and they own a lot of brands, and their beer is all contract brewed. They made a blockbuster deal with Miller Brewing Company in 1999. Pabst turned over their remaining breweries to Miller in exchange for Miller producing the Pabst beers under their license and their supervision. Also, Pabst turned over some brands to Miller, that being the Hamm's line, Mickey's Malt Liquor, and Old English Malt Liquor. So Pabst is sort of like in a combination with Miller Brewing Company. And in 2010, Pabst was bought by a new owner. The Kalmanowitz family sold it to the Greek family. Now, actually, it's a Greek immigrant family. They're Americans. So Pabst is actually the only major American-owned brewing company still. Miller, Coors, and Budweiser being bought out by foreign companies. Here's some interesting Pabst items. Here's a Pabst Ice draft beer can from the 90s. You see the small opening. This is no longer made. It was 5.7% alcohol. They were trying to capitalize on the ice beer craze. That didn't last too long. Pabst Genuine Draft, another attempt to capitalize off of the Miller's Genuine Draft deal. I bought this in Louisiana back around 96. Interesting can. Beer didn't last. They still make Pabst Blue Ribbon and Pabst Light beer. Here's some different bottle designs. This is from 96, Pabst Blue Ribbon, and it actually has a paper blue ribbon on the label. Here's a later bottle from about 2000. And here's a modern bottle design. Very attractive bottle, classic brand. There's no advertising done for Pabst, really no radio or television advertising. You will see today some billboards, however, and signs in stores and whatnot, because around 2001, Pabst started to become sort of a hipster beer. It was very inexpensive, and a lot of college-age students would go out to these bars and they'd see Pabst on tap or the cans or bottles and started to buy it. Now it's become sort of like a cult icon. It's the production has increased a lot, and now Pabst is seemingly on the rebound. It says here on the bottle, this is the original Pabst Blue Ribbon beer. Nature's choicest products provide its prized flavor. Only the finest of hops and grains are used. I don't know if corn syrup would be considered the finest ingredient, but anyway, it's selected as America's Best in 1893, and it's been selected gold many times since then. Anyway, I'm going to get on with the review. Here's a Pabst glass. I'm going to use this other Pabst glass. This is a chalice. In Louisiana, we call these schooners in Louisiana. I don't know why they're called schooners, but that's what people call them. Here's a modern can of Pabst Blue Ribbon. One of the better looking cans in the world, I think. It's just a classic design, but that's just an opinion. Anyway, gonna open it up. Pabst liked me so much because I was always writing to them and telling them I drank the beer and their products and promoted it. They sent me that cap, they sent me this shirt, and a bunch of other stuff. They told me go out and drink the beer and let everybody see you drinking it. Which I did, and I do. Okay, here's the pour. They didn't send me this embroidered cap though, I had to pay for that. Alright, it's got a typical white head. It would be a thick head in a narrower glass. Clear yellow color, yellow appearance, very bubbly. I can't remember the article, and I know it was in National Geographic magazine. This was back in the 70s. They talked about Pabst having a wine quality to it. You would wonder why National Geographic would do that. I've got more than one article. I've got an article in 1980 from National Geographic where they talk about Milwaukee, and there's a feature on the brewing business there, and they showed a picture of the Pabst, Schlitz, and Miller presidents holding up their beers. So apparently people that wrote for the magazine liked drinking beer. Alright, really fine looking beer in a glass. Give it a smell test. You can pick up that corn syrup, corn aroma. Grain though, you can. Here I go again with the sniffing it in my nose. I don't do that on purpose, but you really do get a good smell of what it smells like. You can pick up some of the barley. That's about it. Just a grain smell. On Beer Advocate, this beer gets a C. The brothers gave it a B+. I also gave it a B+. Rate Beer gets low ratings. The Beer and Me, it gets a fair rating. But as always, I'm going to try to be open-minded with the review. The aroma's not strong, but it's not bad in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Let's give it the most important thing here in these Louisiana beer reviews, the taste test. It's a very light-bodied beer. The mouthfeel is light. The drinkability is high. You could drink these all day. It's not heavy. I mean, it's 144 calories. It's not a light beer, but it's not, you know, a thick beer. Okay, you can pick up a grain taste, which is indiscernible. You can't tell if it's barley or corn. Around the middle of the taste, back end of the sip, you can pick up the hops. It's nicely hopped. It's not heavily hopped, of course, but it's nice, and it gives it a good bite. I always liked Pabst because it had a good bite to it. absolutely no foul taste with this beer at all. I think it's a delicious beer. I can see Pabst continuing to rise in popularity. The finish is fairly dry, quite refreshing. I'm going to say if you've never, you can really feel that carbonation. It's so bubbly. I don't know what about the wine aspect. You know, I used to pick that up more in the 90s when Pabst was still brewing their own beer. But I haven't really picked that up since the 99 changeover, so maybe Miller changed it up a little bit. Although Pabst they claim that they have strict supervision of the brewing process. They send their people into the Miller and other companies' breweries. They brew it according to their recipe, which is done with Samuel Adams beer, by the way. Miller does a lot of their beer. So if it has been changed, it was changed by the Pabst people. But it's such a subtle difference. I'll say this about Pabst Blue Ribbon. It has a stronger taste than Budweiser or Coors or Miller. So it's got a little more character to it than your typical major, mass-produced lager. So I'm enjoying this. I always enjoy Pabst Blue Ribbon. I've noticed one thing since it's gotten a lot popular. The price has gone up. Now it's priced along with the premium beers, Budweiser and Miller Genuine Draft. It's not at the bottom of the barrel anymore in the price segment. But when I end this review, I'm going to end this review by saying, y'all come on down to New Orleans, and I still give it a B+.